So, my name is Nico. I am an environmental studies major here at SF State. I'm a fourth year, and I am the active secretary for the Ethnic Studies Student Organization.
My name is Maura. I am a Spanish major, hopefully trying to double major in Latino studies. And I am the vice president here at the org.
I'm Amira Boyd. I'm a third year. I am a communications major and a minor in Africana Studies, and I am an intern.
Like all the years of schooling I had in Oakland Public Schools, I kind of just learned, like American history, about the Civil War. I learned that, blacks were slaves, et cetera, but like I didn't really learn like the history of like other histories pretty much. Like I wasn't empowered. Like I felt this large disconnect from history classes because none of the history really pertained to me. Yes, I was American, and I think it's important to learn about American history. But I just wasn't taught about like my own history, African Americans' history other than slavery, Latino or Latina history. So when I came to state and I started taking ethnic studies classes, my mind just opened. I feel like when you're able to relate to the student, which is like ethnic studies, relating to people's own histories, empowering them, you become like more involved with school. You learn your own history, and that empowers you because you don't know where you're going if you don't know your past. Like you need to know the struggles of your ancestors and everything to move forward and have a better understanding of your life and how you got here in present.
I think for me, the importance of the College of Ethnic Studies is not just, like the information, but I mean, it's also just like the great struggle that people went through a lot to get this College of Ethnic Studies, and we don't have it at every college. And I think that's one of the reasons why I chose this school. It was like, oh, they have their own College of Ethnic Studies. It's like, who can say that, But they fought to get it here, and I think it's a really good space where we can learn about things that I didn't know. Like, I just learned this morning that Frederick Douglass had his own newspaper. It's like you learn about like Frederick Douglass in high school, and it's like, oh, the abolitionist movement or whatever it is that they taught us about Frederick Douglass. But it's like
never really learned about Frederick Douglass.
So yeah, exactly. It's like you don't really learn about people of color when you're in history class in high school, unfortunately. And and to learn really cool things, and how he was talking about the liberation of Black people, and how he was talking about immigrants being together in a movement of solidarity and stuff like that. It's just really, really cool. And it's like, you're not gonna learn this. I'm definitely not gonna learn this in my major. I learned about Spain and the colonizers and stuff like that, but it wasn't anything about like, oh, my people and people of color. And I think that's why the College of Ethnic Studies is really important to me, because I get to learn that. And not only that, when I learn it, I teach it to my younger cousins, I teach it to my brothers and sisters, and they have someone to look up to. And I think we don't, like Nico said, we don't get taught that in our public schools, unfortunately. And so it's really good to have that here. And I mean, it's pretty new, so we get to go back and be like, yay, we've done something in the past.
Like Nico and Myra, I really appreciate ethnic studies because of the history, and then like how our school is one of the only schools that really has ethnic studies. But I really appreciate ethnic studies because it's made me a lot more confident and proud of where I come from. And particularly with Africana Studies, I learned how my ancestors were thrown every stick in the road, or whatever saying that is.
Stick in the mud.
Yeah. But yet they still persevered, and that really gives me like the strength to keep going. And when I'm in hard times, I think about some of the role models that I've learned about, like George Washington Williams. I didn't just when I was younger, I just got Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, Martin Luther King. But then you learn about so many other people, and it's really like empowering. And when times get hard, I think if George Washington Williams could do it, I could do it. So that's why I really appreciate ethnic studies.
And just to chime in, like ethnic studies, it's not just like past history, like
Or current history. As well.
It's a current history as well. It opens your eyes, and like not everything you see on Fox News is real. Fox News is like very opinionated, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's not just like our past history, but it's like current things going on, like
from the people of color's perspective.
Yeah.
This is why we should care about this.
issues with
Yeah.
African Americans and visual media.
Yeah.
You know, just the immigration policies in the U.S. today.
Environmental.
Environmental, like why I'm so passionate about ethnic studies, because I'm an environmental studies major with emphasis on social justice. Like, I want to focus on like environmental racism, because you know all the global warming and all the effects, all the negative effects of crude oil and all this stuff. It hits people of color harder. People of living in low income areas that mostly didn't contribute to the problem. It hits them harder. I mean, you look at New Orleans, for example, with Katrina. Like, they didn't really, that area was hit so hard, and they couldn't afford, and they couldn't really afford to like rebuild. And still, like, there's parts in that area today that are still affected.
In the Philippines as well.
In the Philippines, there's usually people of color that contribute the least to the problem are affected the worst.
And that's what we're doing in ethnic studies. Yay!